screws loose, they done stripped the bolts on them. Should've never sent them to pick up the work for me. Sprayed the park and had my shit inside the car. Marcus Smart boy was shooting with a 36 on him. Said if he wasn't in the rush, they was all goners.
All right. Greetings, Chudlings. Welcome to another episode of Chuddy's Corner. I am your host, back in the hosting seat. Dugouts with me as always, King Chuddy. How you doing today, Chuddy?
Doing well. Game almost gave me a heart attack, but the heart rate's back down now. Ready to talk some Celtics after a nice win. So happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you and everyone listening. You can follow me on Twitter at Doug_outs. Follow Chuddy at King Chuddy. Follow the show at Chuddy's Corner. Make sure also you're going and subscribing to the podcast and whatever platform you're listening to. Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, YouTube. We're trying to basically put ourselves everywhere out there, so the more you guys subscribe, the better that is for everybody, everyone involved. So, again, special thanks to our sponsor, nickparano.com. Also, an extra special thanks to our sponsor, Nick Parano, for filling in for me on the last episode on Tuesday. I thought he did a pretty admirable job. Obviously, very big shoes to fill, but I still think that was a good podcast. Despite the rumors I was not load managing, I unfortunately was working my second job, tending bar to the local scene.
I assume you mean this is your first job, and that's your second
job, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Obviously. And anything but load managing. There's a few players in the NBA who would probably need to take a couple days off if they worked the day that I worked that day, so got to dispel those rumors quick. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Celtics playing the 76ers tonight. Obviously, the Sixers, no Embiid, no Maxey, no Batum. I'm going to say it wrong. Did I say it right?
That's right. Nailed
Batum.
it.
All right.
Studying.
So, yeah, been really brushing up. So, Celtics win 125-119. Like you said, it was not a very fun game to watch. It was a pretty stressful game all in all. Patrick Beverly, career game for Patrick Beverly, ridiculous. But yeah, so the Celtics do manage though to close out, which is kind of a theme of this year, closing out some of the games they might not be able to, might not have done in the past. So 125-119. Chuddy, go ahead and give us a little breakdown of the game. What'd you see?
Yeah, well, you said not a fun game, and I think not a fun game maybe as a Celtics fan. As you mentioned, with those guys out, you kind of expect a big win. Obviously, the Sixers are their two best players. I think as just a basketball fan, it was probably a fun, exciting game to watch. The first half just kind of felt like an open gym. Both teams flying up and down the court. Seemed like neither team could miss a shot. Just incredible shot making in the first half. I think it was like 72-69 at halftime. Outrageous amount of points on both sides. It kind of felt like the Sixers were playing like a little more carefree and loose, knowing that they didn't have Embiid and Maxey. It was just like there was no pressure on anyone. They knew that, they weren't going to get tugged out of there, that they could take more shots, they could let it fly, and everyone was just kind of looked like they were out there and like, whatever, I'm going to get my shots up. You mentioned Pat Bev, absolutely on fire. It was driving me absolutely nuts. One of the most detestable players in the league. D'Anthony Melton also couldn't miss. He was just absolutely
We'll get back to
on fire.
Pat Beverly, because I feel a little bit differently about Pat Beverly. Like, I don't detest him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We'll get back to that. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Shocking, but okay. I'm rattled now. That's crazy.
My bad.
Okay, but no. Yeah, so the first half, basically a track meet. I don't even think, I mean, one of the keys to the game was no letdown. I don't even think, it was necessarily, a letdown for the Celtics, because I think on offense, the process was good. I thought they played with the pace I wanted. The ball movement was good. They were draining open shots. Really just the turnovers were absolutely killing them, Tatum especially, but a lot of guys driving into the lane. It just seemed like they were not going strong into the lane. The Sixers had super active hands, were just reaching and swatting at everything, a ton of steals. We were turning it over left and right, kind of fueling their offense, and then the Sixers were just as hot on the other end. I mean, our defense definitely could have been a lot better. There were some serious lazy plays, lost some guys, allowed some open shots, some easy cuts, a lot of points in the paint. Had to clean that up. Like you said, watching some of the guys they had scoring was totally infuriating. But again, these are NBA players. I think they were playing with that, nothing to lose mentality. And it kind of showed in that first half. Came out in the second half. I think that they were definitely a little more committed to defense. It still felt kind of sloppy on both ends, but the shot making fell off a little on both sides. Of course, we had Tatum ejected right at the end of the third quarter on just a ridiculous sequence where he basically got called for an offensive foul. There's like a reach in. He kind of flailed his arms, kind of hit, I think it was Covington in the face, got called for an offensive foul, argued fine. But again, he already had one technical for arguing. He argued a little bit. They said he stepped to the ref, which is just absolutely ridiculous. He wasn't stepping to him in a threatening manner. He was just trying to get closer to him to like be heard more. And the two refs almost like in unison were like so fast to give him the T and the eject. Like they seemed just like
Eddie House was saying that he thinks he probably said something, not like the step, because the way they both like turned around at the same time. But
we don't know exactly. Either way, it just seemed absolutely ridiculous. And then to add kind of insult to injury, they reviewed it and upgraded it to a hostile act flagrant, which is just like absolutely ridiculous. Was not a hostile act. You want offensive foul, fine. Not a hostile act at all.
Yeah.
Whatever. So again, played the fourth quarter, went into the fourth quarter losing after the 3 free throws that resulted in for Philly at just a huge swing to end the third. Celtics went into the fourth, now trailing. No Tatum. Came out and it was Derrick White, Al Horford were both absolutely awesome pretty much all game, especially in that fourth. Peyton Pritchard came up huge, played a ton of minutes, closed the game. They pretty much, other than a weird kind of minute of Cornet action, they basically closed the game with the 3 point guards, Pritchard, White, and Drew Holiday. All were awesome. Jalen took over, made a few big shots, made a few big plays, hit a couple clutch free throws, which is great to see. That play should have been an and one. I don't understand how it wasn't a continuation. Like you said, the Celtics just really out-executed them down the stretch. And again, I mean, D'Anthony Melton also fouled out with 5 minutes left, was probably their best player tonight. So the Sixers are completely shorthanded and overmatched, and the Celtics absolutely should have won this game. Like, would have been just a brutal, brutal, brutal loss at home to that squad that the Sixers rolled out. But nonetheless, good to see them execute down the stretch. I think the Sixers hit like a garbage 3 at the end, but otherwise I think it was like an 8-0 run to make the lead pull away. Brown, I mentioned, hit 2 huge clutch free throws off that nice drive. And then the next possession, they had nice ball moving again. Holiday took it in. He got fouled, hit 2 clutch free throws. So free throws have been an issue. So to see them hit all their clutch free throws like that, and then on the last possession, kind of pass it around, and then beautiful backdoor cut by Pritchard to get open underneath, hit him with a perfect pass for a layup. That was kind of the dagger. And again, not pretty, but a win's a win. And a win against Philly is always nice, even a very shorthanded and undermanned Philly.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This is a game that they should have won by about 1 billion points. So it was, like you said, for a basketball fan, if you're just watching this, if you're just watching this League Pass, probably was a very entertaining game.
It was on ESPN?
It was nationally televised. So yeah, Mike's last season, I can't ever watch anything besides.
I'm saying it wasn't on League Pass.
That's hilarious too for ESPN that they had that game and then all these people. I was saying that too when Tatum got kicked out. I'm like, imagine being a fan. You bought tickets for this game, and you're like, let's see like them play the Sixers. Then you see that Embiid and Maxey are both out, and then Tatum gets ejected too. It's like, Jesus
Definitely
Christ!
Got your entertainment.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a game that they should have won by about 1 billion points with the team. But like you said, the Sixers came out and they were playing with basically just reckless abandon. Pat Beverly did just decide to totally turn it into the Pat Bev show. The fact that he hit 2 step back threes against us was just like the most insane. Just so insane that those went in. He tried to do. I
love Scal being like, I can't even remember seeing him score 10 points in game.
Yeah, no, this was. I think they said this is like the highest he's scored in like at least a few years, if not his whole career.
It was. I think at least his career high was 26. I don't know what he finished with, but they said he only had in his entire career over 600 games. He had only reached 20 points 11 times. So
yeah, he had 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists.
So that tied his career high for points, which is just silly.
He did try another one of those step back threes like a little bit later in the game, towards the end, and
against Al, he tried to do the ISO on Al off the switch, and
I think he was chirping Al a little bit earlier too. They're saying that he was kind of getting in Al's face, which I don't know why players in the league don't realize that Al's like he really is one of those guys that when you piss him off, he just kind of goes to a different place, and and he had a pretty good game too. He had 20 points, 6 rebounds, awesome. 3 assists, and
the double block possession on Harris,
and the
really
double block. I was just gonna say.
Yeah, and that kind of swung the momentum, and that was like, holy shit. Al just, I mean, they say Father Time is undefeated, but Al is taking him 12 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, you mentioned the momentum. I did think I wrote this down, and since you just talked about momentum, the guard was absolutely buzzing after those double blocks, and the Celtics came down the floor, and Kana just has the most, like, ridiculous traveling call ever. He just was like in way over his skis and
he
just like kind of
ever be in a position to dribble the ball.
No, it was I was
Yeah,
I was as annoyed as I was because of the way that they were playing and how close the game was at that point in time. I just could not help but just like laugh at that. It was just such a like record scratch. Like I bet you're probably wondering how I got myself in this situation, but like the garden was so loud.
It felt like they were about to go on a run and pull away, and it was just like, yeah, it's like a fart noise. Like, oh,
yeah,
no.
it was bad. It was not good.
No.
But yeah, I think, at the end of the day, the Celtics offense looked pretty balanced. I mean, you had 20 points from Horford, 21 from White, 20 from Jalen, 21, obviously, Tatum only played the 3 quarters. Pritchard, Holiday, and Hauser are all 10, 13, 11, respectively. So just pretty balanced all around for everybody. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen them absolutely just blow the doors of this team. But like you said, I think that there's something to be said. It's hard if you're the Celtics to not, feel like you can take this game lightly. And if you're the Sixers, it's hard to not feel disrespected coming into this game as if like people are going to think they're just going to run over you. So,
yeah, not even disrespected necessarily, but I just think, again, we probably take for granted how good even like the worst NBA players are, and there's just something different.
The Scalabrine effect.
A guy like Pat Beverly, well, yeah, exactly. But a guy like Pat Bev and even DeAnthony Melton, Harris, all these guys, most games they go in, they're role players. They're thinking, I'm going to shoot it. I'm basically going to play off ball and shoot it 5 times tonight. And if I don't make my shots, I'm not going to play. Whereas tonight they go in and they're like, I'm the guy. I mean, Pat Bev and fucking Marcus Morris are starting. Melton and Harris are essentially their go-to guys on offense. They know, like, I'm going to get 20 shots up tonight. They're feeling good, and they shot the lights out. Like, give them credit. Like I said, the Celtics offense was really good. They had 20 turnovers, which is obviously bad. Tatum 7 turnovers is really not good at all. A few of those are obviously offensive fouls, but nevertheless, that's like really my only complaint with the offense. Other than that, I thought they played pretty fast the whole game. Like they never really slowed it down in a way that I didn't like. They were getting good looks the whole night, making a ton of shots, moving the ball. So my complaints really weren't with the offense. It was just with the defense, and I felt like the defense, as much as I had some issues, a lot of it really was just Philly like shooting completely out of their minds and making a lot of good plays, and they were pushing the ball so hard at times. It felt like they had so much energy. They would get it and go, and we're just, especially Melton and Harris, were like flying up the court, making layups left and right, and it's frustrating to watch. But at the same time, like you said, credit to Philly and these guys stepping up and making a game out of it. Where I don't think it was so much the Celtics letting down as it was a lot of those Philly guys really stepping up.
Yeah, and I did like to see too. We kind of came out and had to have a good, I would say not a good third quarter, because I don't think we had a good third quarter, but not a bad third quarter. Whereas we went in the halftime without the lead. It was 72-69 at the half. Sixers were up 72-69. Nice. And so it was 26-25 in the third quarter, so it was like kind of like a little bit of a rock fight third
three
quarter.
Of those,
but
again, were the stupid free throws after that Tatum ejection, whereas we had the ball with like 10 seconds left, and Tatum was dribbling a chance to go up by like 6, and it's huge swing that kind of changed everything at the end of that quarter. But
so just to see that the third quarter, again, I wouldn't call it necessarily a good third quarter, but I would say at least it wasn't a bad third quarter. I saw they showed the stat. They put the stat up during the broadcast. Hold on, I grabbed a picture of it. I was like a gunslinger pulling my phone out quickly to take a picture of the stat. Celtics scoring by quarter. In the third quarter, they're 30th in the league with 25.2. So they scored, what did I just say, 26 points in the quarter, I think?
Yeah.
Field goal percentage in the third quarter is 28th in the league, and offensive rating is 29th in the league for the third quarter.
That's pretty bad.
That's definitely something that they got to clean up. Again, I think that's the kind of thing that'll come down and bite you. But it was good, again, to see that they didn't at least have at least they kept the other team from scoring.
Sure. Well, and I think a lot of that, too, I mean, I'd like to see like a little more digging into a stat like that, because I think a lot of those are probably games where the Celtics have been basically dominating at halftime and kind of let their foot off the gas. Whereas a game like this, where you go into the third quarter losing, like, I don't know.
Maybe,
it's one thing
but
when you're
I
up
don't know.
25. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying it's one thing when you're up 25 at halftime and at the end of the third quarter you're only up by like 19, versus a game where you're losing by 3 at the end of the third quarter. Like, there's no excuse to come out flat and like slow down the offense.
But I think I'd kind of think more of that if we were like maybe like 22nd. If you're 30th in the league, I don't know. That's just not. It's just bad. It's bad. It's definitely not good. So, but yeah. Again, I'm not going to be upset with the loss. Obviously, we definitely could have won better, but I thought everyone played well. I want to just circle back on the Pat Bev thing. So, I mean, he's definitely like a guy that when you're playing him, it's easy to like hate the guy. But I mean, I sort of like enjoy the fact that one, he's like not that good, which makes it kind of funnier how he's just such like a little dirt dog and like thinks way more highly of himself than he does. But I mean, I don't know. I think that he's a good little pest for anybody. The last year, it was
He's
against
fine
us,
in his
right,
own
where he
role
pulled
as
the
a
camera out and like showed the ref the camera. Like that shit's awesome. I mean, I don't know to me that's super entertaining. You don't think that was funny? He pulled the camera.
It's fine. I don't like. It's whatever. I just think he's a fucking clown. He sucks. The flopping he was doing tonight. Like I was so happy.
I'm
on
glad
that
they
review,
called that. Yeah,
and they called him the flopping technical. I was again. I know you were listening to the same broadcast. Scal and Mike seemed like they had no clue what was going on.
No, because did they call that technical before or after the review?
So I don't know.
Me neither.
They didn't mention it until
I
after.
think they did before.
If Philly, and it was Philly's challenge. So if Philly was challenging and they not only didn't get the call reversed, they got upgraded. They added a flopping tech on top of it. That is like the worst challenge ever.
Yeah,
obviously.
I think that it might have gotten called before.
So justified. It probably did, and the announcers just didn't realize. But like,
yeah.
Why would they challenge it? It was such a blatant flop. And he had about 6 other flops in the game. And that was why, I don't know. I just can't stand that shit. That time when, Cornette brushed him on the rebound, he went flying, 4 rows. It's just like, dude, this isn't... taking good charges is one thing, but these are just disgusting flops. He could get called 4 times a game. I don't know. I just hate... Like you say, he's chirping Al Horford. What are you doing? I don't know. I just... Like I said, I think he's an absolute
consistent,
fucking clown.
That's just what he does. Just who he is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
100%.
And he paid the ultimate. I feel like it's one of those
clown
things where...
behavior. He's a dirty player. He's been hurting guys left and right his whole career. He's chirping guys who are just way better than him. Who
is he hurt? I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm just curious.
Took out Westbrook's ACL. Dove at his ACL when Westbrook was calling a timeout. Hurt him. Westbrook had a huge piece. And then he chirped Westbrook too. He's like, Westbrook's like a fake good player. It's just like, dude, why are you... I don't know. Whatever. We could do a whole... I just think he's a fucking clown. I don't like him at all. He's fine. He's a good player. He's a good role player, but he should act like a role player. Is my thing.
See,
I mean, that whole thing... Remember when the Clippers got Kawhi and PG, and he's doing we run LA now, and then they traded him a week later.
Yeah.
He's celebrating like they won the fucking championship when Minnesota made it to the play-in turn. It's just like...
But so I guess maybe I misstated
it's funny.
I don't I don't want to have a Pat Bev jersey. I just think that he's just anytime you're in a game that he's in, you're like, okay, something hilarious is gonna happen here. This is definitely
hilarious.
He's worth watching.
It's hilarious until he fucking injures Tatum and taking his legs out. That's not hilarious. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah,
he sucks. He sucks, and watching him make these ridiculous shots.
I don't want to die on this cross for sure.
Yeah,
there was just some moments where he was just doing some shit that I just thought was funny. I find
it weird that you hate Draymond so much, who's like that but is actually good, and then like Pat Bev, who's basically acts like Draymond but doesn't back it up and sucks and hasn't won shit. I don't know.
All right, I like
that's kind of
my Draymond.
You like that kind of guy, or you don't? I don't know.
My dislike of Draymond has come more towards the later half of his career, specifically after he knocked his teammate unconscious. I just think
he deserved it. Have you watched Jordan Poole this year? How everyone on the Wizards must want to knock him out, including their fans. Every game I watch Jordan Poole, I feel more like, all right, I think Draymond might have been justified. I'm sure everyone on the team was probably thinking it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't need to be consistent.
No,
fuck that.
No, that's fine. I just was surprised. I figured you would be just
I feel like he's a little bit more reserved Draymond. I don't know. He's not
I just think Pat
screaming like a maniac and everything.
Pat Bev acts like he's like a star veteran in the league, and it's like, dude, you're lucky to be in the league.
What I think is funny about him. I think that's
it's
I think
funny,
it's the crazy
it's funny in a way that
sense.
I'm laughing at him, not with him, because he doesn't think it's funny. He thinks it's serious.
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. If he hears this, then I'm probably fucked because I'm laughing at him a little bit.
I know he has a podcast. He's more than welcome to come on the pod and defend himself.
Yes, we can mash up. We'll do a mash up.
Happy to have Pat Bev on here.
Open invite.
Yeah, he played well tonight. Hats off. I mean, he, like I said, probably the best shooting game of his entire career, literally.
Those step back threes, I was getting a headache.
And, it's justified at the end. He, typical Pat Bev fashion, thought he was someone he wasn't, tried to take out and
that's
cost him the game.
When he shot that one, when it actually mattered late in the fourth, I knew that one wasn't going in. There was just no way that was happening.
Yeah, he missed a big free throw at the end, too. And when he shouldn't have even been fouled, it was ridiculous. He flopped, drew the call, missed the free throw, so it's great to see. Someone who's basically the anti-Pat Bev in every way, Derrick White. We should be talking about more. Another plus 20 for Derrick White in a game we only won by 6, and it just, again... it passes the eye test. When he's out there, the Celtics just play so well. He has such good control on both ends, makes so many winning plays. Like that one play he had where it was a bad turnover, and he does that thing again where he just sprints from behind and pokes the ball away, and then saved it from going out of bounds in one motion and like heaved it ahead to Jalen for a layup. Yeah. Just like an awesome fucking play. He does that kind of shit all the time. He came back in down the stretch, and it was like he just took control of the game, kind of righted the ship, was making sure we were playing the right way, getting good shots, and he's really been such a steadying force, and it doesn't always show up in the box score. I mean, but tonight it did with 21, 6 and 5, 8 of 8 from the line, 3 of 4 on threes, and again, just making every play on both ends of the game. Just so nice to have him out there, and then to have another guy like Drew Holiday out there next to him, who's very similar, like in that sense of where you just know they're like both making all the plays. So again, not often where you're going to see the Celtics trying to close a game without Tatum. So I think in some ways, as much as it's annoying, it's probably good like experience that guard lineup, to though. Yeah, and it was very effective on both ends. And again, when you've got those guys who can kind of guard up, like, Holiday and White can obviously guard a lot of other people, so you can afford to play so small. And I mean, obviously Philly has no Embiid, so they weren't exactly playing huge either. But again, I think just a game like you can build on where it's, no great shakes to beat that lineup, but to close a close game out where the other team's playing well without your best player, a situation where the Celtics have not usually played well without Tatum, to see them, they could have easily kind of folded after the way that third quarter ended and seeing Tatum go out. But, guys like Horford, White, Holiday, Brown, not letting that happen.
I wonder while we're still on Derrick White, while we're still on Derrick White, I wanted to point out, and I tweeted this out from the podcast account at Chuddy's Corner on Twitter. It's like the net ratings. What is it? It's the best 3-man lineups in the NBA with at least 200 minutes played together. So the top 4 all have Derrick White in the lineup. It's the first one's Holiday, Porzingis, and White. Then it's Porzingis, Jalen, and White. Then it's Porzingis, Tatum, and White. And then it's Holiday, Tatum, and White, 2 out there. So I mean, I guess you could say Porzingis is in 3 of those 4 too, but Derrick White's in all 4 of those. I mean, he's just it's incredible too when you think about what we traded to get him. I mean, at the time it didn't strike me at all like a very meaningful trade at all.
An overpay. People were mad about a 2028 fucking pick swap with the Spurs.
Well, we gotta still wait to see how that one plays out.
I don't think we do. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. But I mean, he's just awesome. Like the stuff that he does, and he's just got a great attitude too out there. He's just a fun player to watch.
So
all
selfless,
around.
No ego, no drama, and just does everything on both ends. Like whatever you need.
He did steal my style, my hair and facial hairstyle.
You gotta let him have it.
No.
Some games he's
come on the podcast.
How many guys in the league can play point guard and run the offense and have the ball in their hands the whole time and are just as happy to sit in the corner and play off the ball? And he never gets down. It seems like nothing phases him. Whatever you need him to do, he does it, and it's just awesome. And I mean, again, down the stretch to just focus on, again, playing without Tatum, which you don't see, and you always feel super nervous when he's not out there, but it was like you felt confidence. And again, they were just executing so well on both ends. They had the play that should have been the continuation for Brown. Not sure how it wasn't an and one. He didn't put the ball back down, but made the 2 free throws. Awesome to see. And then great switching defense on the other end, where it seemed like the Sixers were just running dribble handoffs like they were the team from the Flint Tropics. So that will why did they keep doing this? And Holiday just saw it coming from a mile away, and it seemed like he was waiting for that guy to run for 8 seconds. Easy chart, but great play by Drew. And then Drew down on the other end, he missed Pritchard in the corner, but he drove in and did this lefty hook shot that was a little sketchy. Beverly fouled him on the arm and immediately does that thing where he's jumping up and down he can't believe it. I don't know how that's not a technical, and Tatum, taking one step towards the ref is, but either way, he's acting like he can't believe it. They show the replay. It's dude, you got all arm. What the hell are you complaining about yet again? Holiday hits the 2 free throws. It's just great for them closing it out. I mean, that's what you want to see without your best player, to be able to step it up. No Porzingis too. I mean, obviously goes without saying at this point, but playing with a lot of guys stepping in. Banton, again, came in, played huge minutes. We mentioned Pritchard was good. Hauser was really good, especially in the first half. Cato, we made fun of him, but I overall thought his minutes were good. More good energy. A lot of offensive rebounds. Had that nice alley-oop, which is a nice element to see off the bench. So, again, like I said, really the 20 turnovers not good to see. Really some sloppy plays with the ball, and then still gave up a lot of O boards, which I think is just going to happen seemingly every game. But overall, despite, like you said, some frustrating moments where it felt like we should have been blowing this team out, I thought overall everyone played pretty well.
Yeah, I do have a quick theory. You had mentioned you don't know how Beverly's reaction wasn't a technical, but Tatum's was. I think I know the reason, and that is because Tatum's point total was the only thing between the Chuddy bar dugouts parlay hitting. So I think that there might have been a few calls made in from the league offices. The NBA's got all types of deals now with different sports books and things like that. So I think they could kind of sense that that parlay was coming close to hit. So this one's not actually on me. This one not hitting. If this was a regular normal game, it would have hit. So I know I'll be catching a lot of flack. I guess I should just quickly, a little bit, adjust this a little bit. There's a few questions that have been asked me about it. Number one, I am not working for the bookmakers. I get no cut of all these losing parlays. My pride is bruised, but I'm undeterred nonetheless. And I will continue to try to find it. All it takes is one of these to hit, and I'll be about halfway back from where I started because it's quite remarkable, to be honest, the way this is going. But when one of these hits, though, it's going to be so awesome. It's going to be must listen, must watch podcasting. I'll probably have be throwing money around on the screen.
It'd be hard to be more due.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I keep telling myself, is that there's no every statistical, any data driven. I had a few people crunch the numbers for me, and this is just remarkable, unseen, unheard of. So I do plan on turning that thing around. So I'm looking forward to, I think the in-season tournament game is going to be the perfect place for things to turn around for us. So
going to get it all back.
But no, I'm not working for the bookies. I want to bankrupt the bookies. But I do think that there was a little bit of nefarious behavior today with Tatum getting ejected with the Chuddy Bar parlay. We came so close, and it would have happened if not for that. I'm not going to bring up anything about the past with the NBA and their officials or anything like that, because I would like to one day have maybe Adam Silver on the podcast. But, so unfortunately that's how that played out. I just wanted to get that out there. I wanted to address those rumors, dispel those rumors.
I'm glad you did.
Yes.
And I mean, again, that was such a stupid and ridiculous ejection, and we've talked more than I care to about the refs on this podcast over the whole season, but it just continues to be a theme. And even tonight, like we mentioned, super entertaining game, but the one thing that wasn't entertaining was it just felt like an absolute whistle fest. It wasn't even necessarily like it didn't benefit the Celtics. The Celtics had 36 free throws, 31 out of 36, by the way. Very nice free throw shooting night, good to see. But the Sixers had 23 free throws themselves. Just a shitload of fouls. So many whistles in a game that was otherwise up and down, super fun. Bunch of technicals, reviews seemingly taking an hour. So it's just, again, like, why are we friggin' ruining the flow of these games with some of this absolute nonsense? And, like, I get, like, people are frustrated, Tatum barking at the officials, but he feels they're reaching in a lot. He's arguing that, again, there's just such double standards around the league where the amount, one ref decides, you say one word to me and you're ejected. Other refs, you can basically, argue the entire game, every single play. You don't even get a technical. It's like, I don't know. Like you said, I just want to see some consistency. It's just super frustrating to have. I mean, I'm sure you're in the game. I was on a little delay, so I even got to fast forward through a bunch of the nonsense. But it just seems like they're dragging this thing out with whistles, and it's just like, let these guys play a little bit. Good Lord.
Yeah, and to your point too, because I think it's important that you mentioned, like, we shot more free throws, so it's not necessarily even like
it wasn't against
an
us.
issue. That it caught. I think what we talked about most of the time of the podcast isn't that they're impacting necessarily the outcome of a game with, like, giving one team more rebounds. It's that they're just, like, impacting the, like, entertainment value, the watchability,
and just the flow of basketball. Like I said, it was it was a fast-paced up and down game, and it's just being broken up by whistles. And again, the reviews and conversations that are just taking forever, and it's like, nobody wants this.
Nobody
wants this.
I'm with you 100% on that. I think the officiating, it's gotten pretty bad, and again, it's not one way. You can make the case that by breaking up the game that way, you are impacting it negatively for one team, even though we shot more free throws. I think if the pace isn't going fast, that hurts us. But it's
poor officiating all around. I also thought it was funny. Nick Nurse, who's another, a great villain to introduce to this little mini rivalry, because I can't fucking stand that guy, even though he's a good coach. But hilarious tonight. It seemed like he got teed up when he got the call, and it was like a shitty call. Like I think it was maybe Paul Reed drove, and like it was a questionable foul at best. They got the call, and he immediately got teed up. It's like, what are you arguing about? Like I don't, he's just a fucking can't stand that guy, but he is a good coach.
I wonder too if it was just like he just said like a magic word or whatever.
He got the call. Like,
but I think he thought that he did. I think he might have thought that it wasn't or something like that. I forgot the play because I remember it showed him like jumping out of his seat.
Kind of, but it's I don't know. It's just maybe the refs again are just too quick with their technicals. It's probably the case too, but still, I thought it was funny.
They're way too quick with their technicals, and that's across the league. It's so brutal the stuff that they're calling. For tees.
It's like every MVP candidate, it feels like, has been ejected early from at least one game just for arguing. It's like, what are we doing?
Rite of passage.
Yeah, seemingly. Like, I guess Tatum's made it now. So I was kind of surprised, actually. It was only his second ejection of his career with all the technicals and bad whistles he gets. I would have thought it was a few more, but I guess he usually knows when to draw the line.
Yeah. I guess one other thing, Paul Pierce in the house tonight. It seemed like he's just like checking like quests off. He was being a photographer. There's a picture of him like with the camera that I saw where he just looks like it just looks like so baked. It's just like that whole thing is just kind of funny. Like I just can't imagine, that how much fun that must be for him to just be able to walk into that place and just be an absolute god and just do whatever.
Living his best life in a big way right now. I don't know what will become of those pictures that he took from that camera, but if those come to the light of day, we need our intern scouring the internet for any traces because we're gonna need those posted out immediately.
Yeah, I was there was one point too where like he kind of turned around and was talking to like the person behind him, and I was just thinking like I put up a poll on the account at Chuddy's Corner on Twitter. That was just like, what would you like? I don't even know what I would do if I was just. First of all, if you got a seat and you realize you're right near Paul Pierce, that would just be like insane. And then he's just like turning around during the game and like casually talking to you about the game. I think like the poll options I did was like, would you A, like piss your pants, B, shit your pants, or C, pass him your vape? Which I think I might do all. It might be an all of the above type thing. I didn't
like how there was no option D for multiple of those options because
all at once.
Hard to choose.
Yeah, seriously. That would have been that was pretty awesome. And I just love when Pierce is in the house. He's just always entertaining. I like that he's still kind of embracing his obviously spot here. He had his backpack too. I was watching with someone. They were like, he got to wear a backpack, and I was like, Paul Pierce could literally bring a bomb into the Boston Garden, and I would be okay if they were like, how did dugouts die? Paul Pierce, for whatever reason, decided to blow up the Boston Garden, the TD Garden, and he died. Because of that, that would be the greatest possible way to go out if Paul Pierce were to bring a weapon or something into the garden and kill me. So he can bring a backpack in there. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. I
do love that Paul Pierce seems to has become like a mainstay in Boston now. I never really thought he'd be one of those guys that keeps coming back and is a huge part of like the team, but it really feels like he is, and I just obviously love it.
From even just working out with Tatum in the offseason and everything too, like. I do like that they're kind of bringing those guys. I wonder if it has something to do with Cassell being on the coaching staff, too.
I know Mazzulla had asked for it in the offseason. He sent out a thing to, like, all ex-Celtics to, like, be around the building and around the team as much as possible. So I see them embracing that. And, I mean, it's one thing to say it, but Pierce seems like he's around a shitload more than he ever has been, and I'm hoping that's,
especially where he's, like, an LA guy, too. So it's, like, it's not even like he's, like, a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Right. Also, another crowd thing, too. It seems like... Horford's son is like the new Deuce Tatum. Like he's there all the time, getting a ton of camera time. He was with Al doing his post game interview tonight. They asked him what he thought of his dad's performance, so he's getting some screen time. So
he's like it was good.
Great, played great.
Yeah, I did see it was a star-studded crowd. They had Pierce, they had Donnie Wahlberg, Horford's kid. Deuce was there. I feel like I haven't seen much of Deuce at all this year, which I'm not like complaining about it. But it was I did notice that he was there today. Pretty star-studded audience overall. But I don't know. Do you have anything else just in the game, or should we pivot over to around the NBA?
No, I mean nothing really. I just the only thing I want to say is I think we do these podcasts after every game, and to say we should be beating this team by 1 billion. It's frustrating to only win by 6. This and that is like. It's hard sometimes to kind of remove yourself and take a step back and be like, the NBA is an 82-game season. Look around the league. Teams will just randomly no-show games all the time. Teams will randomly play. Bad teams will play great and beat good teams. Good teams will no-show. Teams will let down. So, don't take for granted, I think, any game. And a win is a win at the end of the day. To move our record to 15-4, best record in the NBA. Like, let's not lose sight of the big picture. Just, we're not going to win every game by 25 points. So, like I said, if we sound a little disappointed and spoiled, let's not lose sight of the big picture and the fact that, winning games in the NBA is really hard to do. And so to be doing it at this rate is really good.
Wow. Holy shots fired at me. Shots fired. That's literally what I started.
So chill out.
I said we should have won by.
I think it's an understandable take. I'm sure a lot of Celtics fans have it, but like.
It's like when you finish the game and you're kind of like, oh, what the fuck? But then, you look around. The Bucks lost to the fucking Bulls last night. So it's like...
Without Levine and DeRozan.
Yeah, so it's like, I get what you're saying.
I'm just saying, like,
certainly
team
a little
is,
hyperbole
no team is
involved
undefeated.
When I say that.
We have the best record in the league, and like
everything you're saying, I was like, he's still motherfucker stealing my lines.
you can only play the teams you're playing, and if all their good players call out sick because they don't want to play against us, like there's nothing we can do about it.
Which is hilarious. I feel like we should maybe just spend one quick minute to point out that all their best players wanted. They were just running scared. Illness, illness.
And Embiid, he really sold this one because he didn't play Wednesday night either. So I've never seen someone catch a case of Horforditis.
I don't know if
2
Chud's
days
freezing
before they
for
even
when
come
he's
into
freezing for
contact
me here.
with them. And then I guess Maxey caught it pregame, and then Batum with obviously not like a star player, but Batum is a really good role player, and he always does a good job of guarding Tatum and Brown. So certainly their two best players and 2 stars out, and then another really good role player. So
it's not an unheard of move to do the pre-bag out with Embiid.
I thought it was interesting that
you
Embiid
call in
did
sick
travel.
And then you call in sick the next day to make that previous one seem more legit.
Veteran fake sick move.
Yeah.
to take the extra day to really sell it.
He's been around the league long enough. He knows.
Yeah, he's smart stuff. Real veteran savvy on his part.
Also, shout out to I just pulled open the page account. Shout out to Dominican Supremacist for retweeting my Al Horford is the system tweet. That's just a hilarious username, Dominican Supremacist. So shout out to that guy. That just came across the wire there. Shout out. Big fan. We love our fans.
Love that.
All right, so we'll pivot over to around the NBA. It's been a couple days, the 2-day layover for the Celtics, so I'm sure we got a pretty jam-packed around the NBA. What do you got for us? What's happening around the league, Chud?
Yeah, well, let's start back to our last game after we clinched the in-season tournament. We saw that there was kind of a lot of just like mixed reactions to the whole point differential thing and the way it's going. Billy Donovan basically, calling out, you saw him during the game go over to Maz and was like upset that the Celtics were doing the hack at Drummond.
Don't call Mazzulla Maz.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
It just makes me think of the fucking radio dipshit. Sorry.
Oh, well, no, there's only one Maz, and it's Joe Maz. Psycho Joe
We're
Maz.
stealing it. We're stealing it.
But please. He's the coach of the fucking Celtics, and he's the winningest coach of all time. So
yeah, that is true.
Percentage-wise,
yep.
I think he's earned the rights to that nickname.
All right, I rescind it.
But anyway, Billy Donovan, the coach of the Bulls, obviously getting like annoyed by it, and people out there chirping like, unwritten rules, blah blah blah. It's like, well, how about the actual fucking written rules? Because the rules are that the point differential is how you move on. So that's what you should be trying to do. So the Celtics have eased up and not made it because of that. Like that shit just pisses me off. This isn't
some regular season game. They didn't for not being able to win by enough.
They didn't do anything disrespectful. They're trying to win under the rules that the league made. Should they not be trying? I don't get it. Should they not be trying to win? I'm so confused. They're doing everything they can. Everyone seems to be into this tournament trying. The Bulls are a fucking clown show. Now their players are complaining about it. Their coaches are complaining about it. Sore loser shit. You're embarrassed that your team's losing by 35 points and your player can't make a free throw to the point where it's good strategy to purposely foul him. Give me a fucking break. This is the NBA. So
yeah.
That shit is driving me crazy. Quit bitching. The fact that the Bulls have still employed Billy Donovan is embarrassing. He might be the worst coach in the NBA right now. Sorry, I know, he coached Al Horford to back-to-back natties in college. I'm sure they have a good relationship. He's a great college coach, but as an NBA coach, fucking clown. I can't believe he's still in the league. The Bulls are absolutely pathetic. So that's that with that. But overall, the in-season tournament, awesome stuff. I mean, huge success for the league, if you ask me. It's November basketball. It's super competitive. Everyone's talking about it. The players are fired up. All this banter is great stuff. After we went off air Tuesday night, the Kings Warriors game, absolutely electric. A huge comeback by the Kings. That's like a huge budding rivalry. Obviously, they played last year in the playoffs, went 7. You had Draymond stomping out Sabonis. You watch that game, it seems like there's some genuine dislike. They obviously both play like a fun up and down style, and it seems like the Kings just like aren't intimidated by them and might be straight up better than them. So that was a super fun game, fun to watch. De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk were both unbelievable. Again, just great basketball in November. Usually a time of the year where nobody's talking about actual games. They're just either talking about football, looking forward to trade season, this and that. People are saying, "Oh, the season shouldn't start till Christmas. Nobody cares." Blah blah blah. So again, the fact that so many people are talking about the NBA and it's front and center is just huge win for the league. The in-season tournament been a huge success. The bracket's out. Obviously, Monday night we'll be playing the Pacers. We'll talk about that in a minute. But all around, great stuff. Love the in-season tournament. Super excited. One negative thing in the in-season tournament, hate to see this, Anthony Edwards getting hurt, going up for a crazy dunk, guy flying under him to take a charge. The band The Charge crowd is out in full force, just like saying, this isn't a basketball play. Go contest the guy at the rim. I don't know. I can see it both ways. I think that's probably a little overreactionary, but still hate to see a guy just like slide under a guy who's in midair like that. And
I think that's what they can change. I mean, that would be what they would change, right? That if the guy's left his feet, you can't. Obviously, that is
the rule, but I don't know. Guys are still like going to try to do it.
Did that guy get called? Did the offensive foul get called?
I think that was a defensive foul, but obviously he's trying.
He's trying to do it still.
It's not like a dirty play, but if there were no charges, he wouldn't be trying to do that. And to see a guy get injured like that obviously sucks. But for how many plays like that happen, there really aren't that many injuries. So unfortunate situation. Is a scary looking fall for Ant. Doesn't seem like it's too serious. So hopefully that's the case again.
That's good.
But it's a little scary every time he crazily leaves the floor like that. So again, hopefully it's not too bad. One other thing that's semi-in-season tournament related, I don't know if you caught this, but Joe Maz recounted a story from actually when his dad played professionally in Chile. That's just an unbelievable story where I guess down in Chilean basketball in some similar kind of like group play tournament with a point differential as a tiebreak. And this is
Mazzulla's dad, right?
Mazzulla's dad was in this game, and I guess it was like an iconic game for like Chilean basketball history that like every Chilean basketball fan talks about because it's so crazy. But anyway, long story short, the team, Mazzulla's dad was on the losing end of this, but one team needed a point differential of +6 to move on. They needed to win the game by 6. They were up by 2 on the last possession, and they had the ball, so they scored on their own hoop to give the other team 2 points, send the game to overtime. And then they ended up winning by 7 to get the point differential. So fucking awesome. And I think as the in-season tournament goes on and teams do get like more used to this and more strategy, we probably will see something like that happen. And it will absolutely, light Twitter on fire. And it'll be awesome. So the fact that just something like that is even a possibility is so cool. Great story. Obviously, Joe Maz has some story like that to go to. Like, just absolutely gotta love it. That was great. I think absolutely hilarious stuff, and something like that would just be awesome.
Do anything to see that happen in an NBA season game.
Yeah, exactly. Like
that would be awesome. The best day on Twitter for sure.
Yeah. So that's really it for in-season tournament related stuff. Then last night you already kind of mentioned it, and I had mentioned it, how we just keep saying, anything can happen in the NBA. A win's a win, don't take it for granted. We talked about a lot how that Bulls team was so pathetic, so hopeless, so lifeless. Sure enough, they come out without DeRozan, without Levine, and they beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Alex Caruso makes a crazy 3 at the buzzer to send it to overtime, and they beat Milwaukee. That Milwaukee team continues to, look great at times, look awful at other times. So again, just like the weirdness of the NBA and how anyone can basically beat anyone on any night. So we shouldn't take wins for granted. Crazy weird game. Still a lot going there. And then staying with the Bulls, obviously Levine is now hurt, out for a week or two. And Woj came out today and said that he looked around the league and there's not a single team that's interested in trading for him. So we talked about this earlier, and I had said that I thought the return on him might be underwhelming compared to like the name and star value, but I don't think I thought it would be this bad to the point where there's literally no interest. But again, it makes sense. The guy is huge contract, constant injury concerns, doesn't play defense, and has just never been part of a winning team. And it's like that weird thing where it's like, obviously he's very good, but the way he plays is like, for him to be good, he needs to be like your main guy. and he's really not good enough to be a main guy on a good team. So it's like he's, I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of is what it is. It'll be very interesting to see how that plays out now, but just kind of a funny and almost sad report to like even, kick the Bulls while they're down, that their best player has literally zero trade interest across the entire league. It's kind of pathetic. Sticking with pathetic teams that we talked about, the Pistons, they went on again to lose to the Lakers last night. 0-15. No win November in full effect for the Pistons. Just a really, really, really sorry state of affairs for them. We talked about them a good amount. They got Cade. Maybe not for long. I don't know. Maybe they'll trade him. I don't know what they're going to do, but got to do something. Sticking with the theme of bad and pathetic teams, the Spurs, maybe not pathetic, but they obviously are not good right now. But I do want to shout out Victor Wembanyama. He missed the game tonight with calf tightness, but first missed game of the season. I think anyone would have had probably taken the under on that for when he would miss his first game. So, I mean, shout out to him. I think people were, saying they would be surprised if he plays 10 games. So the fact that he's gone this long and this is his first missed game, I like seeing players play. So, good for him. I'm happy about that. It hasn't worked out, but he's been playing really well. You watch him out there. He looks like he's busting his ass. He gives a shit.
I was one of those people.
And he looks pissed off. So, again, like I said, I want to see everyone play and would never root for an injury, but good to see. And then a very similar theme with that, the Clippers, we talked about a while ago, seemed like they were figuring it out. Now they've had more pathetic losses. They had another really bad one the other night. And, like, the most interesting thing kind of about this is that their guys have not missed a single game. Like, even the back-to-backs, they have played every single game, which is, like, awesome. And they said it before the season that they're like, we're done with load management. We're taking the regular season seriously. And I was like, yeah, my ass. They are, and they're still bad. Like, and they're like 7-10 or whatever. So I don't know what's more surprising, that they've actually played that many games, or that they have, and they're, like, seemingly even worse somehow. So, another just super interesting kind of situation to monitor, and not sure what's going to become of that. But, we love to continue to kind of watch that whole soap opera unfold. Very entertaining stuff. And that's really it for around the NBA. Kind of NBA adjacent, though. LeBron's son, Bronny, has been cleared to make his return from his cardiac issue and is cleared to play for USC. He's, kind of projected as a late first-round pick. We'll see the LeBron effect on that. LeBron already came out today and made it perfectly clear that he'll happily miss Lakers games to go watch USC plays when he's out there. So,
is that going to be for every game? I thought it was just for his first game.
I think he just said for his first game, but it'd be really funny if he just doesn't play any Lakers games if USC is playing.
Oh my God.
I don't know, but I don't know what to even really say on that. I kind of feel bad for Bronny for just how much of a sideshow he's become due to LeBron making every fucking thing in the world about himself. But kid probably just wants to be like a normal, good basketball recruit trying to make the NBA.
No.
Yeah, that's certainly not going to happen, but I am excited to see him out there. It'll be pretty wild, pretty cool to see him playing out there. I'm sure LeBron will be courtside, probably running on the court, yelling at the refs and making it all about himself somehow. So
yeah,
sure, I can't wait to see what cringe move worthy thing he pulls off. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for the moment.
I have one. Well, that was a good recap, first of all. I do have one just sort of like, not like gameplay related thing. I don't know if you saw the thing on Twitter where Anthony Edwards was like releasing his like signature Adidas shoe or something. And I don't know, I guess someone asked like, would you like to see like, Kevin Durant wear these or something like that? I don't know how that came up, but Durant replied like to the tweet saying like, won't ever see me put a big toe in them motherfuckers. Well, he said MFers. I'm sure he was just kind of having a little bit of fun with Anthony Edwards, but then the Adidas official Twitter account tweeted out, "You dusty, about to retire soon anyway."
So then, without knowing any backdrop, I'm sure it's no shade at Edwards. It's probably him just being a huge Nike guy.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I figured is that he probably he legally probably can't, but the Adidas response is really the bigger story. So
that's awesome.
They deleted the tweet and then the account tweeted again. Someone was like, "Oops, like meant to send that from the burner or something like that." So that I feel like that's almost like a double shot kind of at KD.
That's great. Yeah.
But yeah, you Dusty about to retire soon anyway. Just like wild that Adidas. Like
that's good.
Again, I think companies are becoming a little bit more like social media aware and stuff like that. But that one seems like I don't know. That was just pretty crazy. I couldn't believe that when I saw that. So and then their reply to about the burner was just funny too. So that's really the extent of my contribution to the around the league.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm also gonna tweet out from or I'm gonna retweet from the Chuddy account page. Someone spliced together like a clip, like a side by side clip of Sam Hauser and Kyle Korver, and it's pretty like crazy. It's like hard to like unsee. Yeah. Which is a perfectly fine player comparison for me.
Totally
for Hauser. So
Korver made an All-Star team in his prime.
Yeah. So he's it was Wayne Spooney at W.
Wayne Spooney. Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with his work?
Blog. Yeah, from Celtics blog. He's a good writer. Really good Celtics guy.
Yeah. Well,
love to have him on the show.
He spliced it in. Yeah, we'd love to have you discuss. Come on the pod and discuss. Open invite. So yeah, that was that's just kind of just another side thing I meant to mention earlier in the show, but I was just going through our bookmark tweets and I came across that one. So
that's what we've been looking for.
Yeah. So that about wraps up the pod. Again, Celtics managed to get a 125-119 win over a pretty unstacked Sixers team, whatever the opposite of stacked is. Al Horford, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Derrick White, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Jalen, 20 points, 4 rebounds. He had 4 steals and 2 blocks, too. I think 4 steals. He had
2 pick sixes in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, he started the game.
Including the first play of the game. Yeah, he did it again a minute later. But
Tatum ejected, but had 21 points in 27 minutes, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Pritchard, 10 points. Holiday, 13 points. Hauser, 11 points. Just, again, pretty well-spaced out game, but it was nice to see him pull away with the win, even if it wasn't by a billion points. So, we will be back for recap for the first knockout game of the in-season tournament. I'm so excited. That game on Tuesday, the way that whole thing went down, that really did. I did catch the fever of the in-season tournament, so I'm very excited for that one on Monday night. So certainly looking forward to that, and hopefully we can come out with a win and advance to also the podcast. Me, you, and Nick have all filled out brackets, so we're going to put those brackets out on the Twitter page too. We'll have to come up with some kind of side bet or something like that for those.
Definitely.
So we'll get those. The brackets are in. Just going to get the screenshots and stuff. We'll share them onto the Twitter page. It's going to probably just come down to tiebreaker stuff. I mean, I feel like there's not a whole lot of variations that you can have. But again, looking forward to it. We'll see everybody on Monday night. Celtics sneak away with the win, 125-119. As always, I'm your host, Doug Outs. Follow me on Twitter at Doug_Outs. With me, King Chuddy. Follow him at King Chuddy. Follow the show page at Chuddy's Corner. Those are all on Twitter. And again, go on, subscribe. Wherever you get your podcasts, go ahead and subscribe to Chuddy's Corner. You'll get the alerts as soon as the new episodes drop. We're putting these out as soon as we can after the games, so you'll be able to wake up with usually fresh episodes. If you're a night owl like King Chuddy, you can even catch those recaps the same night. So we're getting those things out quickly. So we appreciate all the support for the show that we've been getting so far. It seems like every episode's growing a little bit more, so we just want to keep that rolling. But again, have a good night, everybody. It's just before midnight on Friday night. I hope everyone's having a good Friday night, and we will see you all Monday. Chuddy, take care, my friend.
Peace out, Chuddy heads.